Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. Sorry it took me so long to get this up, but I wanted to do a quick box opening. Got the leaf for the EDC Batch 1. For those of you who donated, this is the leaf you bought, and I thought you deserved to see it before I grind it up. So we'll open it up real quick. And again, this is from Leaf Only. No affiliation, though I wouldn't shun the idea. Now, when handling leaf, let me set this over here. I recommend always wearing gloves, and that's for a couple of reasons. One, obviously you don't want to transfer any molds, bacterias, sugars, anything from your hands to the leaf. Two, depending on what kind of leaf you're working with, the natural oils on your skin can actually damage the oil. Sorry, the oil structure, blanking out, on the leaf. Three, if you handle enough leaf at a time, it's actually possible to get so much nicotine on your skin that regardless of how much tobacco you use, you can get sick from it. Nicotine is very transdermally active. So gloves, and as far as gloves, I go with nitrile for a few reasons. One, they're thick and not prone to busting too easy. Two, they don't seem to warm up too much with friction, so when I'm stripping leaf over and over again and the gloves are getting warm, I'm not transferring any plastics or rubbers to the leaf. And three, they're not powdered. Four, I can get a box of 100 pairs for like $2 at Walmart. So, alright, so here we have, here's our Brazilian Seco. This is just incredible leaf. If you order Seco or anything wrapper quality, quote unquote wrapper quality, from Leaf Only, with the exception of Fire Cured, which if you guys are following my Facebook page, posted a giant Fire Cured leaf the other day. With the exception of that, any Seco or wrapper quality leaf you get is going to already be stripped for you, so all the weight is lamina, and then the tiny amount of vein left over throughout the leaf. Comes stacked really nice. If you're a cigar roller, I mean, this pretty much comes ready to go, minus hydrating it a little bit. Looks like this. There's actually a couple of them. Really thin. But again, one of my favorite things about ordering Seco every time is all of the weight, minus the water that's in it, is just actual yield weight. That's all useful. The smell, if any of you guys smoke Nick sticks, it's offshoot of Perdomo, out of I think Miami. This smells like the Nick Six Little Havana. Kind of chocolatey, kind of roasted nut, some coffee. No pepper, no spice. You can smell the wood it was pressed with. They press these. And any cigar leaf you get, it's gonna be pressed when you get it. Really nice, and we're gonna hope that a good amount of those oils transfer to the finished product, because I really want to preserve that in the profile. I built up some experience with that with the batch 3. So there's your Seco. Set that guy aside, and here's our Perique. Alright, now that doesn't look like much Perique, but it's really heavy. This stuff comes super wet. So if you're ordering Perique from Leaf Only or anywhere else as whole leaf for snuff blending, expect at best a 30% dry yield to the weight that you ordered. That's the best I've seen. If you're stripping for only lamina, it's going to be even lower than that. I'm going to try to unfurl one of these for you, but like I said, these come so wet that they're almost kind of bunched up here. And I can never get on camera. I've tried getting pictures of this Perique before, and there's if you hold it up to the light, or even just looking at it here, there's like a tiger's eye kind of color scheme to it. There's you know, because of the way it's pressed and squashed down in the barrels, kind of uneven fermenting. It's evenly cured, but it wasn't evenly fermented. But that's about what they look like. It's not the biggest leaf, but it is very thick. It's a thick leaf. If you didn't know, Perique is always excuse me, either made of version of Red Virginia or Green River Burley. Perique isn't actually a strain. There are people who sell seeds for Perique. Those are seeds for a certain variety of Red Virginia, or for Green River Burley. Green River Burley being proprietary is a lot more likely to be a Red Virginia. Perique is a process, not a strain. The smell coming off this, consistent. Every time I've ordered this for the last year, I don't know if it comes from the same batch or if it's just coming from the same people every time, but this is my favorite smell in leaf, second only to the Burley, and it's alright, so it's not the most appetizing description, but the best description I can give you, if you've ever made a homemade wine, you know, and I'm not talking like, you know, well-made homemade wine. I mean, you know, when you rot some fruit in a jar, that's kind of what it smells like, but in a good way. If you guys have ever had, if you're snooze takers and you've ever had Yule snooze, and I've heard that the recipes changed, but when I was using snooze more often back in like 2014, I still use it sometimes, but I was using it all the time back in 2014. The Yule snooze that year, this smell is almost identical to that. Just on its own. When you toast the moisture out of this, and we'll talk more about that in the future, but when you toast the moisture out of this Perique, it loses some of the rankness and just kind of smells like dates and mulled wine, and really good stuff. If I could afford to, I'd throw some of this in every batch I make. Finally, we have my favorite leaf to work with. I think every batch but two that I've done, including experimental batches, use this. This is their aged Burley, and it's a lot of it. That's 5 pounds of it. This stuff in the end can smell about 100 different ways, depending on how you process it. I can get more variety in finished profile from this aged Burley than I can any other leaf that I've got my hands on yet. And not just because it absorbs scents so well, but because the sugar composition of this Burley just allows you about 1,000 different ways to influence the way it smells in the end. Now it comes a little scrappy, alright, and if there's some leaf that you're more likely to be tossing some out of what you got, this is in there. I expect to toss usually about 20% of what I get, sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less, but for planning purposes, I plan to toss about 20% of whatever I get with the Burley, usually due to mold. And I'll go over more sorting through the leaf later. But this is what they look like, and they range in size. This is probably kind of on the smaller end. Some of them are just a little bit smaller, a few inches shorter maybe than the Kentucky leaf I posted a picture of on Facebook and Instagram. The smell, when you get it fresh, I think I was saying that the Perique is my second favorite tobacco smell, and if I didn't, then I misspoke. My favorite tobacco smell is this aged Burley when you first pop this bag open, and if you're hang drying it, the smell it gives off while it's hang drying, I don't even know how to describe it, and I've tried to preserve that scent when I dehydrate it 100 different ways, and it goes and it's gone. There's one snuff out there. It's the snuff I was supposed to review next for In a Pinch, but then, you know, got jumping back into OSP again. I've been neglecting it in a pinch, but Rosinski Tobacco. Somehow, Rene Rosinski managed to totally preserve this smell in a snuff. And if you're not a real, a deep tobacco lover, you're gonna think it's bland. But if you're really into tobacco, it smells just like this. And I really have no way to describe it. Nutty and sweet, but not in a candy-like way, like the way bright leaf can be when you tear into it. More, yeah, see, words fail me. But yeah, my favorite leaf to work with, hands down. And that's everything. There should be, yep. They send one of these postcard pamphlets with every box. Tells you everything you can find on the website. But that's it. That's all I have for right now. I'm going to pop on later and do a video about sorting through the leaf and stripping the leaf and how I start processing. I just want to get this up real quick so you guys can see what you paid for. And even if you didn't donate towards this batch, here's what it all looks like before it's powdered. I hope you guys are enjoying your day. Be safe. God bless. Salud.